Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about ToughBuilt, going with the ticker TBLT. Now for this one, I'm going to try to go as much as I can towards the due diligence, technical analysis, news, what I think about this one, and analyst recommendations. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So ToughBuilt. I've been watching this one for more than a year, almost a year and a bit now. And what we're looking at here is a different company that promises better results relating towards construction products. The products includes Clip-Tech tool belts and pouches and bags and totes, business organization, kneepads, sawhorses, and miter saw stands. So for instance, the tool belt sets are similar to here, very similar to what you see on a construction site, or if you have different projects, etc. That's what you'd probably be needing. A bunch of these, or a combination of. And you get to see that that's basically all the products they have. Now, I've watched this one closely for a while, and you get to see that they do have high volatility with different events going around. Basically, anything with destruction or walls or etc., you get to see that this one does jump a little bit higher. And for this one, we do have some recent updates relating towards the first half of 2021. And that's mainly what the news was really jumping about for the stock on Friday. The ToughBuilt Industries sales double on Amazon in the first half of 2021. And that's a significant year-over-year growth of around 118% to around $5.48 million. That's only in the first half of 2021 compared to $2.51 million in the first half of 2020. Now, a bit of this one just to be careful here, and I try to give you unbiased information. Think about the first half of 2020. I don't think it's very much of a fair advantage to look at, because in the first half of 2020, especially in the second quarter, a lot of these construction projects went to halt. And comparing these sales percentages might be a little bit tricky, because mainly who are the people who bought in the second quarter of 2020 these products? It was probably people just wanting to do home improvement stuff, working on projects personally, rather than different companies outside. And then you gotta ask yourself, who does this company tailor to? Do they tailor to the average Joe construction worker, or to basically an average Joe wanting to do home improvements? If it's the second, then this is a fair estimation. If it's the first, then it's not a fair one, and you need to actually have a little bit of an understanding. So right here, they do actually comment. The significant momentum of our Amazon.com sales in the first half of 2021 reflects the increasing strength of our brand across all product lines with professionals and DIY builders through North America. So this is basically an increase there. Again, in the second half of 2020, or second quarter of 2020, my bad, it was mainly DIY builders. Currently, you have a bit of both. So I guess that's good news, seeing it how it works in the real world. Now, the current cash and cash equivalent as of March 31st, 2021 is around $32.5 million. Their market cap is around $90 million, so that's almost 1 to 3 in terms of cash to price. Now, the last quarter, they reported the following. So they saw an increase of revenue of around 214% to around $12.3 million. Robust backlog from leading retailers across all products. The revenue also increased in the first quarter of 2021 around 214% to $12.3 million compared to $3.9 million in the first quarter of 2020. GAAP also gross profits increased around 128%, and you get to see on an adjusted basis, the first quarter gross margins were around 28.2% compared to 36% in the year prior. Now, GAAP operating expenses were around $9.4 million compared to $5 million in the first quarter of 2020. The net loss attributable to common stockholders was around $6.1 million, or 9 cents per share, and the net loss was around $5 million, or around 43 cents per share. ToughBuilt Industries announces also the fiscal 2020 results back there, so I'm just comparing a couple of things. They increased around 106% from 2020 to 2019, from 2019 to 2020, and that was $39.4 million compared to $19 million. So they continuously increased their profits even in the pandemic itself. And again, this supports the DIY kind of brands and groups, as well as them moving towards different strategies. Now, if we were to go back on previous news as well, just to read the headlines. ToughBuilt increases product SKUs from 4 to 25 at the Netherlands leading retailers tool station. ToughBuilt regains compliance with the NASDAQ requirement that was back on February 10th, 2021. I'll show you something interesting in the SEC filing related to that as well from recently. Now, ToughBuilt fiscal year 2020 Amazon gross sales were approximately $7 million, and they granted 180-day extension, but they already reached compliance, so that's fine. ToughBuilt launches 11 new hand tools at Lowe's. ToughBuilt launches 14 new tools organization SKUs at Lowe's nationwide. ToughBuilt announces record third quarter of 2020 financial results. And the only reason I'm showing you these ones is to get an idea about this company. Working on Amazon, they have around 64 products with Canadian-based Rona. Expands on Lowe's Canada website, lowes.ca. Announces inventory build-up in anticipation of market demand for product. And you get to see the list. Now, going on back towards some of the fundamentals. Take a look into the price over sales. You're looking at 188. The SP 500 price over sales is sitting at 321. Some people might say, hey, you can't compare these two, but at least it's an understanding of how the market in general is performing and comparing this one to that. The price over book appears to be at 122. The price over book of the SP 500 is 471. Hence, on both the price over sales and the price over book, you get to see that this company is undervalued. The price over cost is actually, price to cash per share is sitting at 277, so that's not bad. Quick ratios, everything looks really green here. EPS this year was around 67% growth, and we took a look into how the growth itself changed quarter to quarter and year over year, and so it's definitely looking bullish. We're going to take a look into institutional buyers in a second, but before doing so, if you're liking what you're watching and you want to watch more, please make sure to subscribe on the bottom right corner and leave the bell notification buttons on. Don't forget as well to drop a like to this video, and if you would like to join our Discord to chat, and it's very much of an easygoing community that we're not trying to upsell you on anything, it's in the description below. Now, a bit towards SEC filing. This SEC filing comes back from the 16th of June. And on the second thing that they were voting on was a reverse split with a range of 1 to 2 or 1 to 10. And so this one here, the affirmative vote of the holders of majority of the outstanding shares were required for approval. The proposal was not approved. So the actual people who are holding the stock voted the majority yes, 28.5 million shares for voting for a reverse split, 20.8 million shares voting against, and people who didn't vote was around 91 million or 91,000. Now, the big thing about this one here is that you need a strong percentage. I believe it was around 75%. And what you get to see is that they didn't meet that requirement itself, mainly because of other things, including people who didn't even vote to start with, etc. So that is something to keep in mind, that the reverse split was not approved. They probably will try to as well have another vote for this one. In terms of institutional buyers, we're getting to see millions of shares in June, and that definitely looks bullish. July is not very much of an active month for institutional buyers. And you get to see from insiders, not much going on in 2021 at all. Now, in terms of short interests, this is where things get a lot interesting. So if this we're using here fintel.io for the short interests, and you get to see on the 8th of July, the short interest volume is around 1.26. Currently, it's hovering around, say, 30% a day. That's the average, going all the way to up 40%. But it was very interesting to see on the 8th of July, it was only 1.26. And the reason why this one spiked on good news and went all the way to 120 is because a lot of people were shorting this one, apparently, not based on the short float, but based on the short interest volume. So let's move on towards technical analysis to get to see a bit more about where this volumes and momentum is probably going to lead to. Now, on the 1 month, 1 day perspective for technical analysis, you get to see that things are definitely looking a lot better. Now, yes, it is deemed by news, so that's something to be expected. The down SMA is above the 30 EMA, and the price point is above all the moving averages, as you get to see here. Now, something interesting was happening. It was going towards a negative reversal, and then abruptly, because of the good news, it went to the very bullish side with high momentum. 80x doesn't give you much, but the willing percent R, which is very similar to the relative strength index, shows it's closer to the overbought than the oversold section. Now, if we were to take a look into stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are pinpointing upwards and they have room to grow, suggesting there might actually be another leg up for this one. And in terms of the moving average bands or the Bollinger momentum bands, you're expecting this one to trade at 95 cents in the top and 68 cents in the bottom. Now take a look into the volume. This is one of the highest volumes it has ever recorded. And what worries me is if it doesn't maintain this volume and already seen some resistance, it might actually get back towards lower levels, probably closer to the 90-ish cents. And we're going to take a look into supports and resistances, but that's something to be worried about because such a massive jump on this on very significant volume, it'd be worrying if the volumes die down, and they usually, more than not, they do die down. Now, in terms of Fibonacci retracements, and the reason why I'm using this one is because high frequency traders use it. So the current support level onto this one is 104, 87 cents, and 59 cents. Resistances on the Fibonacci retracements are $1.18, $1.32, $1.52, and $1.78. The current analyst recommendation towards this one is buy Maxim Group with a success rate of around 75% and an average return of around 118%. If we were to take a look at just normal price line action supports and resistances, the current very strong support is sitting closer to the $1.04. Below there, it's around $1.01. Below there, you're looking down towards 95 cents and then 91 cents, going down towards 84 cents, and then down a little bit towards 80 cents, going to 78 cents, and then down towards 74 cents, 70 cents, and then down to 59 cents. Significant resistances, there is a good few amount of them, so 109 is a very important, crucial one, 117 as well, and then 125, going a little bit higher to around the 130 level, and then from there, $1.41, $1.50, $1.60, $1.68, $1.78. Comes to the question to Ed. What do you think about this one? I think that there will be a lot of volatility. What's probably going to happen, because we can easily see as well through the extended hours, is that it is more of accumulating a little. And in that sense, yes, it is flagging. As you get to see, this is still considered a very much of a bullish flag. If we were to open one here and then go down towards this one here, it's going to be something like this. And yes, this is flagging, this is a bullish trend, and you might actually expect for it on Monday to push a little bit higher, at least in the start few hours, or in the early markets. Now what's going to happen is, because volumes might not actually stay on there, and a lot of people who are short selling will probably also attack this one, it's probably going to start dipping just a little, and then if it does start dipping and buyers don't come in to the rescue and buy the stock, it might start easily going on for stop limits and rating stock limits, or stop order losses, my bad, and it's just going to drop really hard. So you got to be very careful of that. Now, at what point? I think below $1, that should be your stop limit. Currently, it's 104, so it's only around 4% below there, and it is a very risky play currently just because of the volumes. And from what I see is that the volume here is around 208. Now, will it sustain towards the next day? That's a very hard question, and I really hope it does. If it does, and you get to see that based on the volumes in the early hours, it's matching, then you might actually get a multiple day runner. But if it does slow down in volumes, that's your cue to jump out. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention that in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.